What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. For the longest time, I've been speaking about the middle class. I mean, anybody that's been tuned in with me for the Millionaire Morning Show for any period of time, including over the last year and a half, 2 years, when everything seemed awesome, when everything seemed like it was just going to continue to go up, and we had this bull run and people were sitting there talking about all of the opportunities, and they were getting their stimmy checks, and we were doing a pandemic, and you know making sure that the rent moratorium was in effect and student loans is paused and all of this other type of stuff. Eventually you got to come and pay the piper. And I told you, I said, listen, you are hearing these Democrats and Biden specifically talk about how tax the rich, and Bernie Sanders, and he's going on this whole warpath against the airline industry, saying that they should basically be fined up to $8 million per delay on a flight. And he don't really understand looking at things from a business perspective. I said, at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, middle class families are the ones that are going to suffer the most. And this is what you see playing out specifically in this article. 75% of middle class households say their income is falling behind the cost of living. So wait a minute. Are you telling me that despite the fact that they've been getting raises and promotions and getting better jobs in the economy and stimulus checks and rent moratorium and all of their income is just up, 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 and you know they've been buying cars and keeping the economy running and so on and so forth. Are you telling me that despite the student loan pauses and everything like that, because I'm reading article after article after article about how all these people are begging and pleading and basically on their knees giving gawk 3,000 to all of their local politicians, begging them to cancel their student loans. But at the end of the day, what did it amount to? Let's think about it. At the end of the day, what did it amount to? So let's break it down, right? The reality of inflation and the specter of a recession appear to be weighing heavily on the middle class households. So I wanted to make sure that I highlighted middle class. It didn't say the poor. Nobody gives a fuck about poor people. Let's just be real. Like most people that even care or talk about poor people in any capacity, they want to do it during Thanksgiving, because they want to go and feed the poor and get their Instagram profile up. Chink, get their Instagram profile up so they can make sure that they're looking good for the gram and their Snapchat and everything like that. They're not talking about rich people, right? Nobody gives a fuck about rich people. Nobody gives a fuck about poor people. But guess where the divide is and the difference is going to be? Guess where everybody is going to be separated? A few of you are going to go into rich mode, and then a whole lot of y'all are going to go into the poor category, because there will be no more middle class. And the only thing that people are talking about is the middle class, because you guys are the ones that are most affected. Among those whose income falls in the $30,000 to $100,000 range. Wait a minute, I thought being six figures, $100,000 is upper middle class. Just talking points, just terms that they use in order to make you guys feel better. 75% say their earnings are falling behind the cost of living, and 77%, even more, think the U.S. will be in a recession by the end of 2022. Well, guess what? Guess what? You are already in a recession, and you didn't even know it yet. You are already in a recession. You are already on the struggle bus. God forbid that you actually lose your job, because the overwhelming majority of Americans, including those making $100,000 or more, as I just did an article on it last week, are living paycheck to paycheck. More than a third of people making $250,000 or more are living paycheck to paycheck. This is a fact. This is not me feeling good about myself. This is not me spouting some random statistic. This is not anecdotal evidence. This is an absolute, positively direct quote and a fact based off of statistics and data. There's also been a general uptick in financial worries in the last 6 months. Well, you don't say, because when you start having to tighten up your belt, you start getting a little bit worried and you start sleeping a little bit differently. In the last 6 months, with 39% of those surveyed expecting to be worse off financially in a year, up from 32% in March and 28% in December 2021. In December 2020, that share was 17%. So are you telling me that people are feeling more anxious and losing sleep now than they were during the pandemic. Because I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. When your money is messed up, nothing is right. Oh, trust me, I know. Which is why I resolved to never, ever, ever be broke again in my life. When your money is messed up, ain't nobody happy. Nobody is going, it's not going to work out the way that you thought it was going to work out, young man. Young man. I don't care what the heck is going on. When you ain't got no bread and you don't have the ability to earn more because you've been running in the Victim Olympics so far for so long and you did not take advantage of when Anton was telling y'all that y'all need to get yourself together because it's better to be rich than to be middle class and certainly to be poor, you absolutely said, nah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Okay, cool. That's cool. There's a higher level of concern financially amongst middle income families than there were even at the height of the pandemic. Interesting. There's a higher level of concern financially. Take this in amongst middle class families. This is CNBC. Let me scroll up for y'all a little bit just so you can understand. This is CNBC. This is not Anton. This is not how I feel. This is CNBC, a report by CNBC. Higher level of concern financially among middle income families than there was even at the height of the pandemic. You didn't even care about no jab. You ain't care if you was gonna die. You ain't care about the vid. None of that. You was partying. You was playing video games. You was having a good time. You was looking at the Millionaire Morning Show, and you was wasting fucking time instead of generating income, putting your money where it needed to be, getting rid of that student loan, putting yourself in a position of power, lowering your expenses, raising your income, maybe getting a second job when everybody else wanted to stay home. We was trying to figure out where's all the jobs at. Now look at you, and you want to be reactive instead of proactive, and don't come to fucking me asking me no questions because I'm going to just tell you, book a session. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Email me and book a session for you to get your life together. The June survey of nearly 1,400 adults was done as a part of Primerica's quarterly check-in on the financial security of middle-income families. Then they go into people making tougher decisions, how it is that they scaling back, how they adjusting into inflation and a recession. Okay, cool. Income also isn't keeping up. Read the latest hourly wages showed a 5.1% increase in June from a year earlier, which means inflation has generally wiped out the boost in income. Oh, so there is a formula to money. You can't just print more. You can't just save your way to wealth. You can't just do what you want to do and expect for things to play out exactly how you want it to play out. Okay, cool. So let's break it down. Actions middle income consumers will take to handle inflation. Work longer before retirement. We know. But you can't work your way to wealth. But let's continue. Cause and pause and saving an emergency fund. Well, your money should never be in a savings account in the first place, but make sure you join the Patreon. We're going to get you together. Delay car payments and delay car repairs and maintenance. I know. You couldn't afford the car that you was in anyway because I just talked to the repo guys and I made some phone calls and repos is up and people are losing their cars. Find a higher paying job. Nope. Increase credit card use. Go ahead and put yourself in that. You might as well go ahead and get a payday loan while you at it on top of it. Tap retirement savings. Absolutely the worst possible thing that you can do. Cut back and pause retirement savings. Cut back and pause student loan debt payments, which is going to just increase because interest don't stop. Or none of these. I vote none of these. But then the question that you have to ask yourself is, are you making the right decision as to what your future is going to look like by making the best decision possible? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat because you need help. Honestly, genuinely, you need help going in the direction that you're supposed to be going in with people that are aligned with you. When you get into the Patreon, make sure you join the Discord. We cooking up over there, right? And then in addition to that, we're doing Build a Business where I'm funding it and I'm giving equity based off of how people are participating. I just came from a Patreon meetup in New York just 2 days ago. It was lit. It was full. It was popping. We getting it in. And 2 levels is sold out because I got 3 levels in the Patreon. 2 already is sold out. It's only 1 left. Don't fucking come crying to me when you don't have access to a network of people that's winning. Real talk. Patreon exclusive video dropping this week. If you need to get in touch with me, Zoom call, phone call, make sure you email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. But don't sit here running in the Victim Olympics because I told you. I warned you. I told you how to move, when to move, and how to go about doing things. All right? I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.